Welcome to episode 2 of Around Peekskill with the Mayor. This week we're going to talk about cannabis in Peekskill. We're going to cover what's legal, what's illegal, and we'll talk about our progress in Peekskill with unlawful sales, illegal businesses, and the path to legalization, and where Peekskill currently stands in cannabis.
In 2021, the majority of the council voted to opt into the cannabis program before the state had all its directives and policies in place. Cannabis has been a multifaceted topic and at times difficult for us to navigate as a city.
So today we're going to answer some of our questions on cannabis. City Manager Matt Alexander and Police Chief Leo Delusky are with us to talk about the general law for New York State regarding illegal cannabis and legal cannabis.
So, Mayor, as you know, laws change and are amended frequently, and with cannabis, this is no different. I'll share some of the top points regarding what is currently legal in New York and in Peekskill. It is legal for adults 21 years and older to possess 3 ounces of cannabis and 24 grams of cannabis concentrate, such as edibles and oils. It is also legal for adults 21 years or over to use cannabis in a private home and in most places where tobacco can be used. It is now legal to grow up to 3 mature and 3 immature plants, but no residents can have more than 6 mature and 6 immature plants. But you can have up to 5 pounds of trimmed cannabis and the equivalent weight and concentrate in your private residence, but you can only carry and transport up to 3 ounces and 24 grams of concentrate within the state.
Thanks, Matt. Chief Delusky, can you share with us what is illegal in Peekskill?
I most certainly can. First off, it's illegal for anyone under the age of 21 to have, use, or share cannabis. It is also illegal to smoke cannabis in a motor vehicle, even as a passenger and parked. It is illegal to drive under the influence of cannabis, and if caught, you will be arrested for DWAI, or driving while ability impaired. It is illegal to smoke cannabis in a private business or any place where smoking tobacco is prohibited. Also, it is illegal to consume cannabis on any federal property. Lastly, it remains illegal to sell or distribute cannabis without a license.
So thank you. So we now know what is legal, what is illegal. And even though it is legal to smoke cannabis in public, it's important to remember, be thoughtful about where you smoke it and keep it away from others, especially children, when you do.
Matt, where can we find out more facts regarding the legal and illegal use of cannabis?
At cannabis.ny.gov.
So I know a lot of people are asking, why do we have so many smoke shops and are they allowed to sell cannabis? So Matt, can you answer that for us?
So it's incredibly lucrative for pot shops to open up and sell cannabis. However, they are not legally supported. So this is why the City of Peekskill needs to partner with the Office of Cannabis Management, our district attorney, and other law enforcement agencies outside the city.
So Chief, who regulates the new cannabis industry in Peekskill and what can we do locally?
So when the state passed the new legislation, it created the State Office of Cannabis Management. It is the first in the nation regulatory structure that oversees the licensing, cultivation, production, distribution, sale, and taxation of medical adult use and cannabis within New York State.
Matt, what benefits will Peekskill see from adding legal cannabis dispensaries?
So along with the sale of cannabis products, there will be taxes collected. Of those taxes, the City of Peekskill will collect 4% taxes. 25% of that will go to the county and 75% will go to the city. That's going to calculate to be somewhere between $300,000 to $600,000 of additional revenue for the city on $10 to $20 million a year of sales.
Right, so there's definitely a benefit. So I want to thank you both for sitting with us today and talking about this. And at this time, I'm going to ask us to bring in our planning director, Ms. Carol Samuel. So I'd like to introduce you to Carol Samuel. Carol is our Director of Planning. She's been with us for a little less than a year. She came into the job after cannabis was approved in the city, and I'd like Carol to talk a little bit about the process of a legal dispensary in the city of Peekskill.
Sure, Mayor. There are kind of two steps to the process because any legal dispensary has to have both a state license and a local special permit. The state license is kind of the ruling regulation. They will look at everything about how that business will be run, security, odors, everything, advertising. And then the state permit, or the local permit looks at what are the environment in the city of Peekskill, where should it be allowed? And the two work together. For a dispensary to open, they have to have both of those documents approved.
So, Carol, how many legalized cannabis dispensaries will be allowed in Peekskill? And who makes that determination?
Yeah, it depends upon where they're located. The state has distancing requirements for dispensaries. They have to be more than 1,000 feet from one another. In our downtown, that basically winds up being one dispensary in our downtown. But in the city overall, it just depends upon where the other ones are located.
Okay. And where are the legal dispensaries in Peekskill now, or proposed to be?
Well, the Planning Commission, which is the approving body, has approved two dispensaries that have their state licenses. One is Valley Greens at 939 Central Avenue, and the other is Cloud 914 at 807 Washington Street.
And do we know when they're going to open?
They should both be opening soon. I know they're busy getting their businesses in place.
Okay. Thank you.
And will they be offering home delivery services?
Yes, both of them will be offering home delivery services.
And what about cannabis consumption lounges? They were approved to be a secondary business related to smoking cannabis, and will these come to Peekskill?
If they do, they'll have to go through the same special permit that any of the other dispensaries would have to go through.
Carol, thank you for all this important information. Can you tell people how they can get in contact with you if they have further questions?
Sure. People can reach me at csamuel@cityofpeekskill.com.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carol.
Now that we've talked about the legal shops, I wanted to ask Chief Deluski, what is happening with the other shops that are selling cannabis in Peekskill?
So we've been working with several different agencies, not just doing this all by ourselves. We've been working with the Westchester County District Attorney's Office, the Office of Cannabis Management, the Office of Taxation and Finance, along with several other partners, Westchester County Department of Public Safety as well, to try to find solutions to these problems with these illegal cannabis shops.
Okay. So are we shutting down these shops? What is the process? What are we doing?
So we've been able to successfully close one. We've had others fined heavily. You may have seen when you walk around town, some of the shops that have the signs, the illegal signs that they've been selling cannabis in the city.
Are those the big red and white signs?
Correct,
Okay.
correct. And we have several other ideas and plans that we're working on right now.
So you may be asking why there's so much issues and pressures around illegal shops and the selling of cannabis. We want to make sure that our residents are safe. We know that the quality of the product in legal shops is far different than what's in illegal shops. We want to make sure that Peekskill is getting their fair share of the taxes. That is one of the many reasons why we opted into this program. And we want to make sure that business owners who have opened up legal shops do not have to compete with the illegal sales. These business owners have spent a tremendous amount of time and money in opening these shops, and they should not have to compete like that.
Chief, if residents are concerned about unlawful sales, what should they do?
They should contact the police department and the Office of Cannabis Management. Any way we can get that information, the better. And once it comes to us, we will forward it as well.
So if you see something, say something.
Absolutely. So this wraps up our discussion on cannabis. I want to thank Carol, Matt, and Chief Deluski for being with us today. And while we have the chief, we'd like to discuss some recent incidents in the city of Peekskill, in the downtown area.
We know there is concern regarding the safety of our downtown, specifically around the 900 block of Main Street. Chief Deluski, can you share some updates on the situation?
Thank you. So yes, we've had some unfortunate incidents in the downtown area. First incident I'd like to talk about was the assault and murder on 900 block of South Street, 900 South Street. On that incident, we made an arrest. It was brought to the grand jury. He's been indicted with murder, and it's moving forward through the judicial system. Next incident we had was on June 10th. We had a stabbing and homicide investigation on the 900 block of Main Street. The victim on that incident unfortunately passed away. However, we identified the suspect in it. We know exactly who's involved in it. We've been working with several different agencies, including the FBI, to bring that person back to Peekskill and have him arrested appropriately. Next incident I'd like to discuss is the incident that happened on July 5th in front of 982 Main Street. That incident, we quickly responded, we made an arrest, we found the person who was involved in it. That person has been charged appropriately, and we are moving forward in that case as well.
So these are really horrific incidents that have happened, but they are not the norm in our city. Some people are saying that, downtown is not safe, they're not coming into the city anymore. Please don't let this prevent you from coming into the city. I want you to know that the city is taking preventive measures to make sure that we're implementing things so this does not occur again and that we're addressing these issues. And Matt, I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about what we're doing in the city to make sure that we're keeping our residents safe.
Yes, first and foremost, I've spoken with the chief, and he has been all hands on deck with his forces. They have been engaging in specialized details with joint investigations with agencies outside the city, such as the FBI, the DA's office, Westchester County Police, and even the Division of Homeland Security. So these are extraordinary efforts, and we commend the chief for all that he's doing to try to rid the city of these issues. But we've gone a step further and worked within our Quality of Life Committee to join forces with other departments within the city that might have more information about things that are going on inside city areas where bad things are happening. So our Quality of Life group meets and we work together to attack these issues, and we've added walking details, additional code enforcement, and we're doing more and more each day to gather all of the items that cause nuisances to people and alert our city that there are problems. And he even pulled out things such as the nuisance code, which has not been used very much in the city, if at all. And that nuisance code is one where we'll be allowed to go after landlords who are allowing these things to go on in their buildings. So we're all hands on deck here in the city of Peekskill.
So recently, the City Council has recommended bars and restaurants close at 2 a.m. instead of 4 a.m. I want to ask both Matt and the Chief, do you feel this will improve the quality of life in the downtown? Starting with you, Chief.
Definitely it's going to improve the quality of life in the downtown. With all the new bars and stuff opening downtown, we've had an increase in complaints of quality of life issues such as noise, people gathering, people drinking in public downtown. Closing the bars from 4 a.m. to 2 a.m. from 4 a.m. is definitely going to help the problems that we've been dealing with.
Okay, and Matt, what are your thoughts?
This isn't just an issue for the bar crowds. This is an issue for the hundreds of new residents of downtown Peekskill. So Peekskill has been growing tremendously over the last 5 to 10 years, as well as the workers and the visitors to the city of Peekskill. We want them to feel safe and secure and know that our downtown is being run in an orderly manner, and this is just part and parcel of that effort.
Thank you both.
What should people do if there's a situation they would like to report? Chief, what should they do if they see something?
There's two ways you can call into the police department. You can either call 911 or you can call the desk number, which is 914-737-8000, and we will instantly respond.
All right, thank you so much. So let's talk a little bit about traffic and street safety. We had a lot of complaints about traffic and street safety, but we want you to know that we are looking into this. So I'm going to ask you, Chief, talk a little bit about traffic and pedestrian safety. What's going on in the city, and what kind of data can you share with us?
So one of the big things I've noticed over the past few years is there's an increase in accidents due mainly to driver, but also pedestrian inattention. So what we've done over the years is we've tried to post signs throughout the city to make drivers and pedestrians aware of the issues that are going on. It's try to get them from looking at their phones, whether they're driving or they're walking. A majority of these accidents could be avoided if just people paid attention as they were walking the streets. So as for some of the numbers of what we've done over the past year, so the City of Peekskill Police Department has made so far 2,474 traffic stops this year. Of those traffic stops, we have issued 2,417 tickets. Over the year alone, over a one-year period, we have made over 100 DWI arrests, driving while intoxicated. And overall, our ticket numbers from this year compared to last year are about 1,400 more than the year before.
Okay, so I think those numbers show that our police department is actively looking at traffic issues. I want to talk a little bit about the traffic study you did on Nelson Avenue. Can you share a little bit what that traffic study showed?
So yes, we did a traffic study over an extended period of time. It was about a 2-month period. And what it showed us was the majority of the cars in the area are not speeding. They're staying within the speed limit. There's very few that are going over 35 miles an hour. So the majority of times when we say that we see people that are speeding, it's not necessarily so. Now, I'm not going to say that there's nobody speeding when they go down Nelson Avenue, but the data just didn't support it.
Years ago, our parents taught us how to cross the street. We crossed at the corners, look both ways, cross in the crosswalk, stay alert. We even had television commercials that taught us how to cross the street. We just need to remind our walkers and drivers that there are many, many distractions out there. People on cell phones, driving and walking. We need to make sure that people are alert while crossing our streets.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, for that. I'd also like to thank our chief and Matt for all the statistics and information that they provided with us today. I want to remind you that as a city, we're always looking at ways to improve our pedestrian safety, and we're working on planning and funding to make sure that it happens. The council is talking about new visions, whether it be not doing any turn on red. We're looking at how that could be implemented into the city. We're concerned about people, making the left turn on North Division and Main and not following those signs, so we're doing more enforcement there. But I also want you to know that if you have concerns in your neighborhood, please let me know, and you can contact me at my email, which is vmckenzie@cityofpeekskill.com. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to remind you of some of the great assets and activities that we have in our downtown for the end of summer and for fall. So Matt, you want to talk a little bit about what's going on?
I sure do. There's lots of great things going on in the city of Peekskill. First of all, on Division Street, we've got the Division Street Music Series, which you can check out on Facebook to get their schedule. But Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 7 to 10, there's music, along with Sundays from 5 to 8. Recently, other businesses, such as the Quirk Shop, have had a fashion show. On Esther Street, it's great for families during the day with outdoor dining, but it's also great when they have events and great music. And check out the new business, New Era Creative Space. They've just moved there and they're doing some great things with our children. Pugsley Park has been such a great success with its new design. It's been able to host movies in the park. Other programming is coming. And we've also recently had our National Night Out, which was a great success in our downtown.
Thank you, Matt, for that. I'd also like to point out about our riverfront. Remember, Parks and Recs is still doing movies and music series. We have coffees and cars on Sundays, the outdoor dining down there at all our restaurants. And if you walk the walkway from the park down to Fleischman Pier, you will see a beautiful park that is now open for your enjoyment.
And Peekskill, stay tuned for our upcoming festivals in our late summer and early fall that showcases Peekskill's diversity. Stay tuned.
So I'd like to thank staff for participating in this today and bringing all this information to our residents. I want to remind everybody at home that the city's work is not done on social media. So if you have concerns, please feel free to call and email City Hall directly. We appreciate you watching today, and we'll see you the next time.